George, the International Criminal Court, well, it's ruled out a trial. Does that mean that actually Tony Blair is off the hook, or...?
Well, you have to be a black African to be on trial before the ICC, and Blair isn't. But that doesn't mean he's out of the woods. You correctly state that Alex Salmond and other Labour MPs, remember I was a Labour MP at that time, there are still many trenchant opponents of the war in the Labour Party, including the leader, Jeremy Corbyn, and I think that he will be dragged before the bar of the House.
On the basis of what the Chilcot report says, because it's not a legal document, is it? It's actually a document trying to seek answers to why we went to war and lessons learnt from what happened.
I think the members of Parliament long ago reached the judgment that Tony Blair lied to the House, which is as grave an offence as any Prime Minister can commit against democracy, against the Parliament. And so an impeachment process will definitely be launched. And then if you think about it, which MPs are going to go through the lobby to vote for Tony Blair after Chilcot and after the carnage that we've seen in Iraq, including the last 48 hours, where the biggest atrocity by ISIS in a foreign capital has just taken place. If you think about it, who's going to want their name associated with voting down the impeachment of Tony Blair?
What does an impeachment mean? That Tony Blair will end up behind bars? It's all symbolic, isn't it? Because it's likely he's not going to go to prison.
Probably, although he could be sent to prison by the House, which is the highest court. He will have to be brought before the bar by the Sergeant-at-Arms, if not in cufflinks, then under heavy manners. And he will have to stand there and face the music from the parliamentarians whom he misled. And for a man like him, that's, in a way, almost as bad as going to jail. There will be sanctions against him, and one of those would undoubtedly be that he be barred from seeking public office again. It's only just a day or two ago he was volunteering himself to be the British negotiator with the EU over Brexit. The man has no shame.
But what about the aftermath? I mean, many people did agree, did they not, at the time, that Saddam Hussein should go. But it's the way the aftermath was dealt with. No support at all from Britain. It created this political void. As you just said earlier, it's created absolute chaos, disaster and tragedy. So surely other people should also be scrutinised for what happened after that intervention.
Well, you could say that. I don't myself, because, of course, there would be no after if it hadn't happened. It's the crime, the sin of foreign aggression, making foreign war, making aggressive war, which Nuremberg has already judged at the end of the Second World War to be the ultimate crime. That's what counts for me. The fact that they didn't send enough first aiders or colonial officials is a very secondary issue for me.
George, very quick reaction. Jeremy Corbyn at the moment, many are saying the attempts to oust him has connections to the Chilcot report this coming month.
I've got no doubt at all. You've only got to look at who the controlling hands are in this coup, and they all lead back through the sinews to the man behind me, Tony Blair. And if you don't believe that, I've got a London Bridge I'd like to sell you.
George Galloway, thank you very much indeed for joining us here in the studio.